Good evening, everybody. This is Sweat, and this is a gameplay that I got just the other night, playing with Stout and a couple of his buddies, and it's with a gold Uzi. And I do really well score-wise, mainly because of my kill streaks, but just the fact that I was able to reach my kill streaks with such a piece of shit for a weapon, because this weapon is garbage. Like, it really is. And I was using the extended mags because I was hoping I could string together a few kill feeds, and not happening. Not happening at all. And this is the lone gameplay that I was able, or good gameplay that I was able to get from this thing, and I quit using it pretty much right after that. But it's been a while since I told any of you guys my boot camp stories, and this isn't really a boot camp story. I was almost out of the Marine Corps, and I wanted to tell you guys about one of my biggest ass chewings that I've ever gotten in my life. Now, I grew up and stayed in trouble and would get yelled at and whatnot, but when I was in the Marine Corps, again, for those of you who don't know, I was crash fire rescue, basically an aircraft firefighter. You sit around, you wait for planes to crash. And I had a staff sergeant in charge of me that he left me in charge when he went on vacation. So I had recently received the rank of sergeant, and in an ideal world, you're not supposed to, at least in the Marine Corps world, you're not supposed to assume that much responsibility as a sergeant. You know, that's what staff NCOs and everything are for. But our guys, we had a bunch of guys that were just getting back from Iraq, and they weren't attached to the unit yet. They were still checking out and everything like that. So we were a little undermanned, and I was in charge. And it was just for a few days. But while he was gone, we had this huge conference call that we had to do with all these high-ranking officers and all these sergeants major and all this kind of stuff about this big air show that was happening in on our airfield. And my goal, my job during this conference was just to take notes for my staff sergeant and to let everybody know, when they had any questions about my unit, all I had to do was just answer yes or no, or give them numbers, when they want to know how many people we had, or if we were capable of doing this, that, or the other. And not opinions or anything like that. I was just listening in and taking notes, basically. So, like I said, we had this unit that was just getting back from Iraq, and with the unit was this old gunnery sergeant that I'd only heard about, and everybody said he was mean as hell, just a complete asshole, which there were plenty of people in the Marine Corps that were mean as hell and just complete assholes. But I hadn't come in contact with this guy, and our unit was pretty laid back by a lot of Marine Corps units before he'd gotten back. So that being said, I still know Marine customs and everything like that. When a high-ranking guy like him walks in a room, you stand at attention, and you give him the greeting of the day, and then you go about your business. And I'm on the phone though in this conference call with some really high-ranking people, much higher ranked than him. He walks in and he just stares at me. Well, I give him the little, I'll be with you 1 second, kind of, the one finger, gunnery sergeant kind of thing. And he clears his throat like, are you going to acknowledge me? Like that kind of, clear your throat type action. And, I put the phone down, I cover the phone, be with you in just 1 second, gunnery sergeant. The shit hit the fan at that point. He was not having that. He started yelling, he started screaming, he started hollering. Here I am, some sergeant that's barely been in, he spent more time in the shitter than I've spent in the Marine Corps, and I'm disrespecting him and not giving him the attention he deserves and the respect that he deserves, and he's just yelling and screaming. Well, at this point, I'd kind of put the phone down and I was standing up, but I was still trying to listen into the conversation, at the other end. Again, I'm supposed to be taking notes. I'm supposed to be, passing on all this information and everything. Well, they hear this guy screaming, and all these high-ranking guys are like, what is going on? What is happening? So I'm doing one of those, yes, gunnery sergeant, no gunnery, yes, gunnery sergeant, and then I hear him on the phone, and I'm like, yes, sir, yes, sir, it's 1 second, sir, I'm sorry. And I'm trying to go back and forth, but all that's doing is pissing off each side more and more. The officers and everything are trying to figure out why they're yelling, and then I'm not giving them a reason or an answer, so they're pissed off. And this gunnery sergeant is even more pissed off, and he's starting to head my way and walk toward me because I'm not putting the phone down, and I'm still on. As far as he knows, again, I'm on the phone with my mother. But He doesn't know that. He's just screaming and hollering. Doesn't know that, I'm on the phone. All these people that are screaming at me. Well, the officer in charge of my unit, he's also in on this call with all these high-ranking guys of the whole airfield, and he hears all this yelling. I mean, it's down the hall. It's a few doors down or whatever. He hears all this screaming, and he comes in there, and all he sees is me standing at attention. Yes sir, no sir, and this gunnery sergeant at this point had gotten like pretty much in my face. The whole knife hand, just foam flowing from his mouth, just screaming at me, and he puts this gunnery sergeant in his place, starts screaming at him, starts yelling at him. Do you know what's going on? Do you know what this devil dog's doing? Do you know what's going? No, you don't. So shut the fuck up and let him finish his goddamn job. And this gunnery sergeant's like, sir, yes, sir. Now all of a sudden, he's starting to do a little backbreak, but he doesn't want to, sit there and give me the satisfaction of knowing that that I was right, even though, again, I hadn't done anything wrong. And that's one of the biggest points I wanted to tell. Like, one of the biggest reasons of telling this story is how much bullshit that you could get into, and for doing nothing wrong. I didn't do anything that I wasn't supposed to do. I tried to be as courteous as possible, and this guy, wouldn't have it. Wouldn't have it. Just absolutely, that was just me being disrespectful and this, that, and the other. So the officer in charge had put him in his place, told him, let him finish his goddamn call, and that was it. He told me go finish the call. So I sit back down and I'm taking my notes and everything, and I'm looking up, and this gunnery sergeant is just sitting there with his arms crossed, standing in the doorway, staring. That's all he's doing, is just staring at me, and I'm sitting here like, looking up like the real worried, nervous, like is he gonna go away? What am I gonna do? I finished the call. I mean, it probably took another 30 or 45 minutes inside the conversation, inside the conference call, to get all this stuff. Because again, this is an air show that's multi-million-dollar machinery, billions of dollars of equipment and man hours and everything. This is no small task that I was listening in on. And he sat through every bit of it, just staring at me. As soon as the phone went down, as soon as I hung up the phone, there he did. There he blew up again. This time blaming me for getting him in trouble with the officer, and whatever else that he'd come up with in his mind, that all this was my fault, which just goes to show you that with all this, with everything that I did, and everything that you do in the service or whatnot, yeah, you can still definitely be held accountable for some absolute bullshit that really is not your fault at all. And that's just about the end of it. And I wish I could say that I got some kind of silver lining, or there was a lesson learned there. But pretty much the lesson is that it doesn't matter, because you'll be on somebody's shit list. I was on that gunnery sergeant shit list for the rest of the time I was in the Marine Corps, which luckily enough was just a little less than a year for me. But after that, whose stories people heard? They heard the gunnery sergeant story about the whole thing. They didn't hear my side of the story, so who are they going to believe? I was just a piece of shit to everybody else that had come in contact with him. So that's all I've got, guys. Thank you again for watching. I want to tell another story that's a bit more vulgar than what I'm used to telling on my channel, and so yeah, I'm a little hesitant. So let me know in the comments below if you guys aren't completely opposed to it. If you're watching this on COD Ops 247, can't thank those guys enough for allowing me to post on here. By all means, check out my link in the description. Come check out my channel. And other than that, guys, I've got nothing else. Y'all have a great day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.